You tap your phone at the checkout counter. 1 second, a beep, payment confirmed. No card, no PIN, no friction. Tap to pay has become so seamless, so instant, so frictionless that most people do it dozens of times a week without a second thought. And that frictionlessness, that beautiful, convenient 1 second transaction, is precisely what a new and rapidly expanding class of attackers is exploiting to drain bank accounts without ever touching your physical card, without ever being in the same room as you, and in many documented cases, without you ever realizing your money was gone until you check your balance. This is not a warning about a future threat. This is not a hypothetical scenario assembled by researchers in a controlled lab. According to ESET's threat report for the first half of 2025, NFC-related attacks surged 35 times compared to the second half of 2024. 35 times. In a single 6-month period, Kaspersky's researchers documented over 80 unique malware samples built to exploit contactless payment technology. Group IB tracked at least $355,000 in fraudulent transactions from a single point-of-sale vendor across a 9-month period. ESET researchers identified an active Engate malware campaign that began in November 2025 and was still running at the time of their April 2026 disclosure. The tap-to-pay attack is not coming. It is already here. It is already targeting Android users across multiple continents. And there is a setting on your phone right now that determines whether you are protected from it or exposed to it. To understand the threat fully, you need to understand how NFC actually works and where the vulnerabilities inside it live. NFC stands for Near Field Communication. It is the short-range wireless technology that powers contactless payments, operating at a distance of a few centimeters between your phone and a payment terminal. When you tap to pay, your phone does not transmit your actual card number. It generates a token, a one-time cryptographic code that represents your payment credentials for that single transaction. The token is useless to anyone who intercepts it because it cannot be reused. This is why the technology was considered so secure when it first launched. Tokenization and encryption appeared to make card cloning essentially impossible. Attackers read those research papers, and then they found a way around all of it. The attack is called NFC Relay, and it changes everything about how tap-to-pay security works in practice. Here is how an NFC relay attack operates, explained exactly as cybersecurity firm Kaspersky documented it in their January 2026 analysis. The attacker needs 2 things: malware installed on the victim's phone and a second device controlled by the attacker that can receive and retransmit NFC data in real time. The malware on the victim's phone, once installed, captures the NFC signals that your phone exchanges with payment terminals and relays them over the internet to the attacker's device, which can be anywhere in the world. The attacker's device then presents those relayed NFC signals to a physical payment terminal as if it were the victim's phone tapping normally. The payment terminal receives a valid cryptographic response. The transaction is approved. Money leaves the victim's account. The attacker is in a different city, a different country, potentially on a different continent, and the entire transaction looks completely legitimate to every fraud detection system between the bank and the terminal. The tool that made this attack practical was originally called NFC-Gate, a legitimate open-source research tool built for analyzing NFC traffic that cybercriminals modified, weaponized, and turned into the foundation of an entire malware ecosystem. The first documented criminal attacks using modified NFC-Gate occurred in the Czech Republic in late 2023. By early 2025, more than 80 unique malware samples built on the NFC-Gate framework had been identified by security researchers. By February 2025, attackers had combined NFC-Gate with another piece of malware called CracksRat, allowing them to install and configure the NFC relay tool on victims' phones with minimal victim interaction required. A spring 2025 evolution produced what Kaspersky described as a reverse NFC-Gate, a variant that fundamentally changed how the attack is executed and made it even harder to detect. The Rat-on Trojan, identified in the Czech Republic, combined full remote smartphone control with NFC relay capabilities, giving attackers the ability to capture screen content, manipulate clipboard data, send SMS messages, steal information from crypto, wallets, and banking apps, and run NFC relay attacks all from a single piece of malware. This is not a niche threat operating in isolated corners of the cybercrime world. Kaspersky confirmed that NFC relay technology has been packaged into malware as a service offerings and is being resold to other criminal groups, meaning that any moderately resourced attacker can now buy access to this attack capability without building it themselves. The Ghost Tap attack is the scaled-up industrial version of NFC relay, and Group IB's January 2026 research into its operations reveals a criminal infrastructure that has grown far beyond individual attacks. Ghost Tap begins the same way most financial fraud does, with phishing. Victims are contacted through SMS messages or phone calls and directed to fake websites impersonating their banks, their card issuers, or legitimate financial apps. On those sites, they enter their card details and are then tricked into sharing the one-time passcode needed to register their card with a digital wallet. With the card data and the OTP in hand, the attacker registers the victim's card into their own Google Pay or Apple Pay wallet. That registered wallet is then relayed to other devices, potentially dozens of them operated by money mules, positioned at retail locations around the world. Each mule device performs tap-to-pay transactions using the victim's card credentials, draining money from the account in small enough increments to evade the velocity detection systems that banks use to flag unusual spending. Group IB identified at least 54 separate APK samples, fake Android apps, being used to distribute the malware that enables Ghost Tap. Some of those APKs impersonated legitimate institutions. The criminal networks behind them were selling access to illicitly acquired point-of-sale terminals openly on Telegram, advertising them to other criminal groups who wanted to cash out stolen card credentials through contactless transactions. In November 2024, Malaysian and Chinese nationals were arrested in Singapore carrying out exactly this type of fraud, making contactless payments at high-value stores without physical cards, using relay technology to authenticate transactions remotely. In January 2025, victims in China lost at least $13,000 to NFC-based application attacks. The documented financial damages growing every month. The Endgate malware family represents the most technically sophisticated evolution of this threat, and its April 2026 resurgence documented by ESET Research makes this directly relevant to Android users right now. ESET identified a campaign active since November 2025, targeting Android users in Brazil through a Trojanized version of HandyPay, a legitimate NFC relay application that has been available on Google Play since 2021. The attackers took the real HandyPay application, modified it to include Endgate malware, and distributed the malicious version through channels outside the official Google Play Store, using smishing campaigns and social engineering to convince victims to sideload the infected APK. Once installed, the Trojanized HandyPay app prompts the victim to enter their payment card PIN and perform an NFC tap inside the app's interface, framed as a legitimate security verification step. When the victim complies, Endgate captures the complete NFC transaction data and transmits it to an operator device that can emulate the card for in-person tap-to-pay, transactions, and ATM cash withdrawals. The victim's card details and PIN are now in the hands of attackers who can drain the account through any contactless terminal anywhere in the world. ESET shared their findings with Google through the App Defense Alliance. Google confirmed that PlayProtect detects known versions of the malware, but the Trojanized HandyPay APK was never on the official Play Store. It was distributed entirely through external channels, meaning users who installed it bypassed Play Store protections entirely by enabling the sideloading setting on their devices. This is the setting at the center of everything. The single most important change you can make right now to protect yourself from NFC-based wallet attacks is to disable the ability to install apps from unknown sources, what Android calls installing, from sources other than the Play Store or an older Android versions, the unknown sources toggle. Go to Settings, then Security or Privacy, depending on your Android version, and look for Install Unknown Apps or Unknown Sources. Make sure this is turned off for every single app listed. On modern Android, this setting is per application, meaning each app that has previously been granted the ability to install other apps will appear in this list separately. Revoke the permission for every entry in that list. Your browser should not have it. Your file manager should not have it. No app on your phone should have permission to install software from outside the official Play Store unless you have a specific, conscious, ongoing reason for that. Every documented Endgate and Ghost Tap campaign that has successfully infected victims has relied on the victim having this setting enabled, either deliberately or because a previous installation left it turned on without the user noticing. Disabling it closes the primary infection pathway that NFC relay malware uses to reach your device. The second setting to address is NFC itself. Go to Settings, then Connected Devices or Connections, depending on your phone manufacturer, and find NFC. If you do not actively use Tap to Pay or any other NFC function, turn NFC off entirely. An NFC relay attack requires active NFC on your device to function. No active NFC means no relay. For users who do use Tap to Pay regularly, the recommendation is different. Leave NFC enabled, but be acutely aware of when it is active. And never tap your phone within range of an unknown device presented to you by someone you did not initiate a transaction with. The physical range of NFC is a few centimeters, meaning the attacker's relay device needs to be very close to your phone to capture its signal. Keeping your phone in your pocket or bag when not actively paying eliminates almost all passive NFC interception risk. The third protective step is to enable Google Play Protect and verify it is running active scans. Open the Play Store, tap your profile icon in the top right, then tap Play Protect. Make sure it is enabled and run a manual scan. Play Protect is your primary on-device. Defense against known N-Gate and NFC Gate variants. ESET confirmed that Google Play Protect detects known versions of N-Gate malware. Keeping Play Protect active and updated means your device will flag known. Malware before it has a chance to activate its NFC relay capabilities. Also check that your Play Store itself is up to date, as Play Protect receives updated threat definitions through Play Store updates rather than Android system updates. The fourth step is to register a virtual card with spending controls through your bank's official app, rather than registering your primary debit or credit card directly into Google Pay. Many banks now offer virtual card numbers, disposable or single use. Card credentials that can be registered for digital wallet use and then canceled or replaced if compromised. A ghost tap attacker who obtains a virtual card number that your bank limits to a specific merchant category or a maximum daily spend has far less to work with than one who obtains your primary debit card credentials linked directly to your checking account. Contact your bank and ask whether virtual card numbers are available for digital wallet use. If they are, use them. If they are not, ask your bank about setting a specific daily contactless payment limit on your account, a ceiling below which tap-to-pay transactions process normally, but above which additional authentication is required. Many banks offer this as a configurable account setting that most customers never enable because they never knew it existed. The fifth step is to pay attention to any app that asks you to tap your physical bank card to your phone as part of a setup or verification process, especially if that app arrived through a link in a text message, an email, or a social media post rather than directly from the official Play Store. The N-Gate infection flow documented by ESET begins with exactly this scenario. The malicious app presents a legitimate-looking interface that requests a card tap and a PIN entry, framed as a security verification. Your legitimate banking app, your legitimate Google Pay or Samsung Pay app, and your legitimate card issuer's app will never ask you to perform an NFC tap of your physical card as a verification step after the initial setup. If any app makes this request and you did not deliberately download that app from the official Play Store by searching for it yourself, do not comply. Close the app. Delete it. Run a Play Protect scan immediately. The NFC payment attack landscape in 2026 has reached a level of scale and sophistication that demands serious attention from every Android user who uses their phone to pay for anything. A 35-fold increase in NFC attacks in 6 months is not a statistical blip. 80 unique malware samples built on a single NFC relay framework is not a cottage industry. $355,000 stolen through one point-of-sale vendor in 9 months is not a minor financial crime. This is an organized, expanding, technically sophisticated criminal ecosystem that has found a way to bypass the tokenization and encryption that was supposed to make contactless payments immune to fraud. Your phone's NFC setting, your unknown sources permission, and your Play Protect status are the three variables that determine which side of that equation you sit on. Check them today. Change what needs changing, because the tap-to-pay attack that is emptying wallets right now does not need to touch your phone, does not need you to be present, and does not announce itself until the damage is already done.